going to start by drawing out about how tall you want the building. So I'm just going to use this as a reference. Just think of an average guy as being 2 inches tall, including his head. So there, I want it to be a top height of about that tall. So square it up. It's also helpful if you have a carpenter's square. So you just draw a nice line across, like that, and just roughly think about if you were to divide this into 3 sections, because this is a 3-walled building. You can also make 2-walled buildings with the same idea. But, so I'd want it a bit wider, just because, here, if I were to lay these sides down, 1, 2, 3, I'd want it to be about here. So I'm going to mark it about there. And then draw a line quasi-straight. So, and then just connect these 2 lines. Like so. And so that's about how much space we actually need. So this might look like a lot of space. Like that's an average hand. So it might look like a lot of space, but trust me, when you cut it and fold it, it ends up being about 5 inches wide. So, here, wait, let me just grab one of those from top. There we go. So this is roughly, for those people who are looking for actual measurements, it's 15 inches wide by 7 inches tall. So pretty much what you're going to want to do is, so all my sides are the same length, pretty much. Yeah, they actually are the same length. They're all 5 inches, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, all my sides are 5 inches. So what you're going to want to do is lay out your tape. You can also use a ruler. I'm just using this because I can't find my ruler, so I'm going to mark out 5 inches and 10 inches. And if you're just doing a 2-walled building, you might choose to make it a bigger building, maybe taller, who knows. It's endless possibilities what you can make with this. So, close that up. Grab out our square, and you're going to want to have a general idea of a 90-degree angle when doing this. So, that's about a 90-degree angle. About right. There we go. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your knife. I'd like to only set mine about that far out, about 2 notches, and then make sure you have a blade with a lock. If you don't have a blade with a lock, it sometimes slips in, and I don't like it. Okay, so I just got my ruler because this was giving me a really hard time. So, just going to reline it up there, and then draw a nice straight line. You don't have to go over the edges because, let's face it, there's not going to be a building there. However, some people like to do that because if they choose to change your building a little bit when they're cutting it, then, so because I already have one of these, I'm making this for my friend, Cindy and Desmond. Check out their channel, link in the description. Yeah, so here. There we go. And this line. And this one. Okay. So now that I have all these lines drawn out on it, flip it around for you. There. So now I have those lines. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the vertical lines for my windows. So these windows are spaced 1/4 of an inch apart, and they start 1/8 of an inch from each of these edges. So I'm going to measure from there to there. So actually what I'm going to do is, sorry about that. So I'm going to come back when this is all, when I finish cutting it out, and then I'll go through the steps of cutting it with plastic cutters like this. Okay, so I finished cutting out the general shape of this, like so. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave it for right now, and I'm going to draw in my windows. So what I'm going to do is, so that lines up. So that lines up pretty well, like so. So I'm just going to write in the markings. So on this one, I start in half an inch from the farthest edge out. So it's about there. So there and there. So that's half an inch. So that's what my first window is going to be. And then the windows are an inch wide or 3/4 of an inch. Nope, they're all an inch wide. So, there we go. So an inch wide is there. Half inch between them. Inch wide. Half inch between them. Inch. So another thing you can do when once you've done this is take plastic from some blister packs. This is from a package of modeling clay I got for $1. And just take them because it actually kind of looks like glass. And if you take your knife and cut it, it can actually look like broken glass. I'm not going to do this on this one. But yeah, it's entirely up to you if you want to do it or not. I'll come back once I finish cutting out all the windows. Okay, so I finished cutting out all the windows. So that's what it looks like, the base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, so I'm going to show you with the window piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it like that. There are two straight edges. And then I'm going to put them together like this. So these make nice corners. Because when you have foam board showing and you paint it, it kind of doesn't look that well. Nice. So now that I have that measurement cut out, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and not cut. So I'm going to do my base cut. So the top layer. Then I'm not going to cut down. I'm going to just touch the paper, so nice and light. And then if you bring it to the edge of your board, and just trim it along there, like that. You have a piece that pops up, and you have a nice piece of, so you may not be able to see, but it's like that, and there's a nice piece of paper at the end. And then when the two seams fit together seamlessly. So now that I have these pieces, this is basically what my thing is going to look like. So there we go. So now I've got my two beautiful sides that fit. There we go. Fit over this, and it doesn't leave an edge. So when I paint it, you might not be able to. So I'm going to use hot glue instead of white glue, partially because I'm running low on my white glue. I used the stuff, got it from Michael's. It was like $2. I would suggest if you're getting white glue, go to the dollar store. Just because you don't need it to hold a lot of strength, because when you put floors in and everything, it automatically gives it the strength you need. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go. So I'm going to hot glue these pieces together, and so I recommend just keeping your hot glue gun hot unless it drips. And if it drips, then just turn it off. Because if you have a hot glue gun, you won't need to worry about this because you don't. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I just line it up like this on the foam board, get it as close to the edge as you can. And then just, I like to go a bit over the edge. Try not. Some of you may have noticed, but wait, that doesn't look right. It's square and it doesn't match up to the edges. You're right. We're gonna cut it. So, so what I did is I just take my plastic cutters and same stuff you would use, whatever article you use to cut your guys off your miniatures, or just a pair of wire cutters will work, like side cutters, small side cutters. That'll work as well. And what I do is I just work my way around and just cut out chunks at various angles, and just maybe cut it a little bit deeper. So pretty much you're just building another thing, foam board really, when I say really dulls your knives. So it's really helpful if you have the kind that snap off, not just the small kind which only go out like that far. It really helps, trust me, to have knives that you can snap, because it keeps your tips nice and sharp. So there's a little gap over here, and I'll fill that in with some putty or something. I can use glue as well. So that's size comparison for the first floor. So you can still. Okay, so I finished cleaning up these floors, and I thought that the jagged edges looked a little too fake. So I trimmed it down, so there's still a bit of indenting on it all. And so, now what we're going to do to make the sides look like they were attacked is just take your knife, and you're just going to take it and do the same thing you did for the floors. Just trimming it up and around. Don't make it even how much you trim off. Just trim off stuff where you can. There. There. Yeah. And then it's up to you how you base it